Hi, hello, welcome to all for Unnati Education. So, we are dealing with the physical world, first PU physical world. So, among the topics, we have covered up to what you call this list principle of physics and technology we have completed. And now one important part is remaining, that is fundamental forces in nature. Fundamental forces in nature under physical world. We are in part 8, video number 8, fundamental forces in nature. It is very important from the point of view of examination. If I say it is very, very important. So listen carefully. There are four fundamental forces in nature. How many forces? Four. Four fundamental forces in nature. Which are they? They are strong nuclear force. You can see here. Strong nuclear force, first one. Then electromagnetic force, weak nuclear force, and gravitational force. Yes, strong nuclear force, electromagnetic force, weak nuclear force, and then gravitational force. Let us see one by one. What is strong nuclear force? You know what is nucleus, right? So let us read what is given here, then we'll discuss. It binds protons and neutrons in nucleus. You know, inside the nucleus, where nucleus lies, right? You know that, correct? So suppose if you say this is an atom, and inside the atom, the center of the atom, there will be nucleus, right? And inside the nucleus there will be what there will be? There will be neutrons and protons. Neutrons and protons, they are bind, they are inside this nucleus, they stay inside nucleus. What is the reason for that? That is this strong force. That is what you call a strong nuclear force. Okay, so this is a force between the protons and neutrons inside the nucleus. It is strongest of all fundamental forces and is attractive force. This is attractive force, you remember. It is attractive force and is the strongest force among all these four forces. Okay, it is about 100 times the electromagnetic force. The second force, you know, electromagnetic force. So it is 100 times greater than the electromagnetic force. It is responsible for stability of nuclei. So nucleus remains stable there because of this strong nuclear force. Then comes the electromagnetic force. The force, this is the force between two charged particles. See, suppose if you have two particles, particle 1 and particle 2, there will be a force between the two particles depending upon the charge. If they are positive charges, they are having positive charges, then there will be a repulsion between them. Suppose if one is positive and the other one is negative, means then there will be a repulsion between them. Okay, so that kind of force between them, which is known as electromagnetic force. Force between what? Force between two charged particles is at rest. If they are at rest, that is called electromagnetic force. Charges in a motion produce magnetic effect. Hence, this combination produce electromagnetic force. Suppose, you know, what is said here is, what you have to understand is, these two charges are at rest, means there will be an electric force between them. It may be attraction or repulsion depending upon the charge, as I mentioned. And suppose if these two charges or charged particles are moving, then there will be a magnetic effect also. So there will be magnetic force also. So combining these two, we say electromagnetic force. Electromagnetic force. Hence, this combination produces electromagnetic force. Electromagnetic force can be either attractive or repulsive. I explained, right? You understood. Very good. Attractive or repulsive. It is much stronger than gravitational force. We have seen gravitational force is the last one. The fourth type of force we have seen so far. Then next one, third one, see, that is weak nuclear force. We have studied one, that is strong nuclear force. Now we are into weak nuclear force. What is this? It appears only in certain nuclear processes like radioactivity. That means some nuclear reaction will take place like fusion, fission, etc. We'll study that in coming classes. Okay, so in radioactivity means that kind of nuclear reactions. During nuclear reactions, this weak nuclear force comes into picture. So it is stronger than gravitational force but much weaker than electromagnetic force and strong nuclear force. Okay, just remember this is the third force that we have seen given here. C, weak nuclear force. Okay, then last one, gravitational force. It is the mutual attraction between any two objects by virtue of their masses. Suppose if you have two objects which are having masses, then there will be a force between them. That is what you call as gravitational force, which will be very weak, and it is always attractive and is universal force. It is called universal force. All objects on earth experience the force of gravity due to the earth. Due to the earth, all the objects on the earth will experience the force of gravity due to earth. So here you understood four basic or fundamental forces in nature: strong nuclear force, electromagnetic force, weak nuclear force, and gravitational force. So it is very important, as I said, but how the question will appear means which is the strongest fundamental force in nature? That may be the question. What do you say? Strong nuclear force is the strongest force among fundamental forces in nature. Then weak nuclear force. Then then electromagnetic force. Then comes weak nuclear force. So weak nuclear force comes in the third place. Then finally the gravitational force is the weakest force. So there may be question like, which is the weakest force among four fundamental forces? Which is that? Gravitational force. And you should know the order also, increasing order of forces. If they ask which is the increasing order of strength among four fundamental forces, so you have to write gravitational force, then weak nuclear force, then electromagnetic force, and then strong nuclear force. So what you have to remember here, is there are four fundamental forces in nature. There are four fundamental forces in nature: strong nuclear force, weak nuclear force, electromagnetic force, gravitational force. So, among these forces, which is the strongest one? Strong nuclear force is the strongest force. Then comes electromagnetic force. Then the weak nuclear force. Then gravitational force. So, what you have to remember here is strong nuclear force is the strongest force. Gravitational force is the weakest force. These things you have to remember. Okay, so suppose if it is asked to write which are the four fundamental forces, no need to write in order. No need to write in order, but if they ask in the increasing order of the force, that is value of force, increasing order, if you have to write, you have to write gravitational force, then weak nuclear force, then electromagnetic force, and then strong nuclear force. Okay, so suppose if it is asked only to write the four fundamental forces, no need to write in order. As I said in the earlier part, anyway you can write strong nuclear force, then weak nuclear force, electromagnetic force, gravitational force, in any other order also you can write. But suppose if it is asked in the decreasing order, what do you have to write? Strong nuclear force first, then electromagnetic force, then weak nuclear force, then gravitational force. Suppose if it is in the increasing order, gravitational force first, then weak nuclear force, then electromagnetic force, then strong nuclear force. Suppose which is the strongest force in nature, what do you have to write? Strong nuclear force is the one which is the strongest fundamental forces in nature. Then which is the weakest force in nature? If it is the question, then you have to write gravitational force is the weakest force among the four fundamental forces in nature. Okay, thank you.